Hi everyone, and thanks for stopping by my channel. This is Susan from Blue Vinyl Stickers, and I've been seeing a lot of questions lately of what do I do now, how do I do that, what is this, and how do I get rid of it. So I'm going to show you just a couple of tricks and tips that I've learned, and was going to show you basically how to split a design into two colors. Was working on some updates in my Etsy shop and came across this design that needed an update, so I figured I'd go ahead and show you how I do it before I go ahead and update it for sale. So I am using the Silhouette Studio Business Edition. You don't need to use the Business Edition for this, but the Business Edition, it's full of all the bells and whistles in the top of the line, so if you can afford it, why not get it, right? So here's what you get when you open Silhouette for the first time. You go ahead and get your mat, your working surface, and then you'll get your drawing surface. And a lot of people go, wait a minute, I've got my big mat here. I can't get my paper to go any bigger than this. Well, come up here to where it says paper size, click on the solid one, and it'll say current printer. And if you have a printer installed on your computer, then it will pick up the size paper that you have it set for. And most are 8.5 by 11, and that's what this is right here, is 8.5 by 11. But I want to cut with my full, excuse the dog in the background, he always barks. I want to cut with my full mat. So I'm going to come over here to the down arrow and go automatic Cameo. And there we go. Now I have access to my entire work surface. Now, a lot of people like this small grid. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. I come over here to the grid. You can turn it off, or you can turn it on. I don't put snap to grid because snap to grid is very frustrating at times. You want to move something just a little bit, and it jumps over to the next line. Snap to grid means whatever you put here, if it's not close to it, it will jump to the nearest closest intersection, and sometimes that's just not where you want it. So I have it snapped to guides. I'm going to go ahead and take that off too. Show grids. If I want to show the grids, yes. If I don't, you know, our guides. So I'm going to show the grid or not show the grid. And here is where you can do the spacing. I've got mine set in 1-inch increments, and that corresponds to, if you look at it here, that corresponds to the markings that are here on your mat. So basically the gray is your mat. And so I want my grid to correspond with the mat. Anything other than that, you're going to end up with a lot of headaches that you really don't want. So there's that. I put the grid size. Now the divisions are at 8. You can go all the way up to itsy bitsy, oh my gosh, you'll never see that, all the way down to 1. I usually keep it at 4 because that's just, you know, just a nice even number, and most of my stuff will go with that 4. So there's that. And a lot of people say, I got these lines on my screen and I can't get rid of them. Well, this one here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in a little bit. This line right here, this light gray line, is actually your print border. Okay, so if I turn it off, so if you were going to print something, it will show you exactly how much of your screen is going to print. Right now, the red outline is your cut border, which means don't put any vinyl or anything outside of those red lines because your machine won't cut that far. Now with the print border, you can see it, you can actually take it, and it's set right now for the orientation that is normally default, which is here, which is, now you can take it and rotate it and rotate it and rotate it. Okay. So I usually get rid of the print border when I'm doing designing. So what I'm going to do for you today is I am actually going to show you one of my pineapples that needs a little bit of an update. So we are going to actually create this one here from this one here. So let me go ahead and click on it, right mouse click and say open. So here it is. Now it's just a line drawing right now. It is in a studio format. And right now it's just a line drawing and everything is all connected. And I want to be able to separate this so I can cut this at 2 pieces and layer it back together. So what I want to do is right mouse click and I want to release the compound path. Now, assuming that you have purchased this or you grabbed this off of the internet, you've already done a trace, it's already converted, already converted into the studio format. So it will be a compound path. So I'm going to go ahead and release it, which means, see, everything here now is all released. They're all single. See, they're all singles. So I want to combine this one. So I'm very carefully going to draw a box and get all of those pieces. I don't want to catch the outsides here. So just very carefully do it. Right mouse click and say make a compound path. And to make sure that I got them all, I'm going to come up here and color it in and make sure that I got all of those pieces. And it looks like I did. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that to the side for a second, which leaves all of this here. Because with this sitting here, there is no way that I'm going to be able to come in here and just grab these without also grabbing the pineapple. Okay, I don't want to grab the pineapple. So I'm going to move it out of the way because it's already grouped in one because I made a compound path. And I'm going to highlight this and right mouse click and say make a compound path. Again, I'm going to go ahead and color it in to make sure that I got all the pieces and they're together. I'll put this back together and I want to make sure that it is centered this way. I come over here and choose this, go to my transform panel, choose this one, the horizontal, make sure it's in the center. You see it move just a little bit. So let me do it, let me make it more obvious for you. So I select them both and I put it there. Now if I do this one, it puts center to the center. So I don't want to do that. So this one will be just an eyeball for myself. So unselect and just move it to wherever you wanted it. And that was pretty good right there. Now I'm going to select them both. We'll pull them down a little bit. We are going to make this into 2 different cut files, but I want them to line up and I don't want to have to eyeball anything to make them to line up. So I'm going to come over here to my flyout menu and I'm going to grab a box and I'm going to create a box. And then I am going to right mouse click and duplicate that box and move it over here. Okay, so you want to make sure it's above this, but it's still above these, about the width of these. Okay. Draw a line through it, and again, make sure that they are even. So if I up like this, make sure they're even. Okay, just makes it easier. Put it back down to where you want it. And at this point in time, I'm going to select here and here. And if I come over here, I've got the pineapple again. So I'm going to color in this one with the blue, color in this one with the blue. I'm going to say duplicate and move it to the side. Now this one, I'm just going to hit my delete key and I'm going to say group. Don't resize it, don't do anything, don't make anything smaller, trying to save vinyl. This is what you need right here. Come over to here to this one. We're going to click on the wreath and say delete, and then I'm going to come up here and just say black. and then say group. So now when I take these to the machine, I will go ahead and cut a piece of vinyl this size, and I'll cut a piece of vinyl this size. So as you can see, those two pieces actually won't fit on the mat together. It's going to have to be two separate cuts. When I cut them and weed them and bring them back together, I will line up those boxes up there, line them up, and my finished product will be this. So tip for when you're weeding and when you're using your transfer tape, you need to decide which one is going to be transferred over to which one. And I usually choose the bigger one going to the smaller one. The reason being is because you need to cut your transfer tape so it encompasses this entire piece. Okay, you need to encompass that entire piece that's been weeded out. And then what you'll do is you will take the whole piece. Oh, come on. Come on. Be nice. You will take this entire piece and lay it on top of these. And as you can see, that piece of transfer tape will cover the pineapple. Now, if we did it the other way, and I just chose a piece of transfer tape to just cover this. Okay, let me make it a little bit darker for you here so you can see it. Okay, if I just chose a piece of transfer tape that would cover this, then when I come over here to the pineapple and transfer it on, then as you can see, the transfer tape is going to miss a lot of the decal that's down here. And although I can add another piece of transfer tape over the top of that, if you are making one of these for a customer, that's just not acceptable. So what you do need to do is make sure that the transfer tape is going to cover this entire big piece and put it over here. Yes, it does waste a little bit of vinyl, but in the long run, you end up with a beautiful decal in the end. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful or useful, please go ahead and comment below. And hopefully, when I come across something else that I think you would like to learn, I'll go ahead and get a video made for you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.